Greg Franke welcoming you to another edition of BCSN Sports Flash, where we talk to a lot of the outstanding athletes that we have watched over the years, many that are still playing in high school competition, BCSN, and many who have gone on to play at the next level. And we've got one of those here tonight in Kaitlin Bronikowski, who is a great softball and volleyball player for Central Catholic and now is playing volleyball at Wall. So thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And the name very familiar. We work with your mother a lot doing commentating for volleyball. Jennifer, she was a former coach at Central Catholic, and hope to have your dad on for baseball and softball too.
Yeah.
That would be great. And I guess that's a good starting place for your career. So you had your mother coaching you in volleyball, and you had a great mentor in softball with your dad. I remember reading about how he worked with you on a lot of things in your softball skills. What was that very helpful that you saw, and were there some challenges in having your parents be your main coaches?
Yeah, it started off rough, like the freshman year. We didn't really know how it was going to go. And then we had a 15-minute rule. So we'd get in the car, and we couldn't say anything about the game because they all had comments. My mom had comments about volleyball. My dad had comments about baseball or softball. So we just made sure that we were quiet for 15 minutes, and then we were all calm afterwards. If we lost, they didn't talk for more than 15 minutes. But yeah, it was fun. And my sister has a bigger issue with it than I do, just because her and my dad are like this. They have the same personality. But yeah, I thought it was fun. I loved it.
So during those 15 minutes of silence, and you had something you know you were going to say, was it hard to just observe the 15 minutes?
Yeah, but it was good because.
In the minute it was, okay, 14:58, 14:59, 15, and then everybody started in?
Yeah, now we can talk. Okay, yeah. Very similar, yeah, just like that.
That's pretty funny. Now you're playing at Walsh now. How's your experience been in collegiate volleyball?
Good, I love it. I've told my parents before, the transition from here to collegiate wasn't hard because we had the Maddie Burnhams and Katie McKernans and the people that went on to play anyways. So I think the volleyball competition around here is very similar. The only thing is the girls are so much bigger. Like the Ferris State girls was 6', I think she was 6'6", and I just looked at her like, okay, I'm 5'5" from Toledo, and I mean, they're just so big, but very similar.
So what do you do in that case? You just have to invent some way to succeed in spite of that disadvantage?
Yeah, well, I'm the libero, so I'm in the back. I just stay back there the whole time, but watching them warm up without a block or anything, it's like, wow, these girls are big and they can hit really hard, so I just got to get my hands up quick.
Yeah. And if you're attacking from the back row,
yeah.
You got somebody who can basically block anything you put up there. It affects what you can do.
Right. They don't give me the ball back there to swing. They just don't trust me.
Yeah, exactly. So talk about your high school experience at Central Catholic. And Melissa Belcher was your coach, and your mother was assistant coach. And that was a time when Melissa had some difficult physical issues that are been very well documented. And I'm sure that was a trying time in some ways, but a very inspirational time too.
Yeah, well, like I said before this interview started, the mentality just changed. Like we went from when I was a freshman and sophomore, she didn't have ALS yet. So then the mentality changed from playing for you and for us personally to playing for somebody that had a bigger issue going on. And coming to Central for 3 hours for practice a day was her get away from the ALS and everything that she had to deal with. So we kind of took it upon ourselves to make that time better for her, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and she's still awesome. So
yeah, I'm sure it helped put the games in perspective.
Right.
They're important, you want to win them, but there are more important things in life.
Well, yeah, and the example, I don't know if you remember this game, but we played against Ursula at Ursula. It was the first ALS fundraising event.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, and we were up 2-1, and we had never beaten Ursula, and they were so good. So it was 2-2, and we ended up losing in 5, 16-14, I think was the end score. And it was awful, but then we kind of remembered why we were there, so it helped. But to this day,
well, what I remember about that particular night that was so inspiring, first of all, it was the love that was so
from
apparent.
Both teams.
You took the word out from both teams. I mean, here's these rivals. Well, you were telling me that there was a student from St. John's, at Walsh, and it's like, oh, well, we're not supposed to be friends, but you said it's okay now. But both teams, the outpouring was so palpable and so obvious that it really did, in spite of the tragedy of any time a situation like that occurs, it couldn't help but uplift you watching it.
Oh yeah, and then that carried over because that was my junior year, so even senior year it was the same thing. Everybody still came. I think we played Notre Dame my senior year, and it was the same thing. All the teams wore that M for M shirt, and really cool how Toledo's such a cool city like that.
Yeah. So what about softball now? What are some of the things your dad? He kind of took you out and worked with you on all kinds of skills and got your batting stroke down. What sorts of things did he help you with?
Well, I think I got a hit-away pole when I was like 11. So he would set it up, and even if it was really cold outside, he'd be like, it's so easy, I'll just set it up real quick. And he was always, I wanted to. It's not like he was like, come on, let's go outside. But he was awesome with like the technical stuff. And he was a catcher, but his hitting obviously is what he was known for. And that's kind of where I struggled. I hit like 1 home run in 4 years, so he's not proud of that. But no, it was fun, and he was very calm. He's definitely more calm than my mom is, but I mean, they're both equally awesome. But he was good at taking me outside and being like, okay, this is what you have to do, and this is what you're doing wrong. He knows exactly when he sees a swing, like what to do with it. So it's cool.
Yeah. So how did you compare the two sports? A lot of times, you know, volleyball and basketball, or soccer and volleyball, they're similar in that they're active sports, whereas softball is a little bit more cerebral. It's a little bit more sedate compared to volleyball or basketball. Totally different kinds of games.
Oh, yeah.
How did you compare the two, or how did you enjoy the two relative to the other?
Well, they're so different. In volleyball, even in high school, it's so fast. Like, it used to be slower when the sets to the outside were slow, but now everything is fast. The sets are fast, the swings are fast. And then softball, you're right, it's just so relaxing. Like, Aaron Seiler was our pitcher for 3 years. So you
could take a nap in the field.
Seriously, yeah, she had more strikeouts than anybody else. So I would just sit out there, a ball's coming to me, okay, perfect. And then I would get it. But yeah, she was fun to play with. And they're just different. They're so different. But I'm glad I got both sides of, the athletic world, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Aside from the 6'6" players on the other side of the net, what were some of the other big adjustments that you had to make, maybe on the court and just maybe in terms of the commitment that you have to make to collegiate sports?
I was going to say the time commitment, because even at Central, like Belcher would have us out there in June, and we'd work out every day for like a few hours a day. But now it's the 5 a.m. workouts and the workouts at 9 o'clock, because that's the only time the gym's open. And just the level of like commitment that you have to give to the sport, because it is a job. I mean, technically you're getting paid to go and do it.
It's like 2 full-time jobs.
Right, with school.
Student and athlete.
Yeah, both equally as important too. So I think it's just the time commitment was the hardest part, and learning how to get up at 4:30 to go lift at 5 was not easy either. So. Yeah.
And then you talked about the faster pace of the game and all that. How long did it take you to sort of get to the point where you feel like, okay, I'm used to this now. I'm comfortable with this now?
It didn't take too long, just because, obviously, like I said, Maddie and all the girls that played with me as a senior. But it took a couple matches to realize that, oh my God, the whole game is this fast. Like, it's not just one good play that people are excited for. It's like the whole match is that way. So I would say probably half a season before I realized, like, okay, this is normal. Like, it's not just this team's really good. Every team is really good in the GLIAC. So that took a while.
Yeah. And then that brings up, and they play a very, very good volleyball in the GLIAC. Mm-hmm. Now, that brings up another subject, too, that we talk about with some of the athletes. And sometimes the feeling has been you got to specialize if you want to play at the next level and just play that one sport year-round. But you played 2 sports, and it didn't keep you from being able to do that. Did you feel that helped you to keep from maybe burning out a little bit, just to have something different to do and working other muscle groups and all those kind of things, cross-training, that sort of thing? Did it help?
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. I never really played, I wasn't able to play like the TVC Elite, like 16-1 or 17-1, because I had that commitment to softball in the spring. But I really liked having I had 2 different friend groups. I had 2 different, and if volleyball was making me mad, then I could go out and do the hit-away pole. I had like that option.
Yeah, that could be very helpful if you're frustrated.
Yeah, I had that option, so I liked it. And I tell everybody this, to not specialize too early, because I would have probably been burnt out by now. Because even I'm going to be a senior, and I kind of am starting to feel that like my body's aching in weird places that I didn't think it should be hurting yet. And I feel like if I specialized too early, that would have happened sooner. So I don't think it's a good idea, but I made it through. I'm fine.
So what are you majoring in? What do you hope to do once you finish college?
I am exercise science, pre-physical therapy. So hopefully I will graduate in 2017 and then apply to grad schools any and everywhere. Mm-hmm. Just hope for the best, I guess.
And if you're not too far away, maybe you'll show up on the sidelines coaching somewhere.
Or right next to my mom commentating.
Right next to you. Well, hey, the door is always open. I'm looking forward to working with your dad during the spring season,
he'd love to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, well, hey, I really enjoyed talking with you here tonight. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And best of luck as you continue at Walsh.
Thank you.
Kaitlin Bronikowski, outstanding volleyball player for Central Catholic and now for Walsh College. Greg Franke saying so long on another edition of BCSN Sports Flash.